on the rail, first slam in the arena, first hard fail. They read your move, then broke your line. One clean strike and you fell every time. Dust on your face, grin still alive. You said run it back just to survive. Round after round you stayed in the fire. Every scar taught you higher, higher. You learned their fangs, their breath, their pace. You learned how to lose without losing your place. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. They knocked you down, you got back up. Now you drink that pain like a champion cup. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. From the floor to the crown, you don't stay down. New scars stacked up on your name. Bad brackets, bad draws, same old shame. Your alluvial shook, then stood again. Little by little they learned to win. One move left when the trap got set. One took the hit, never brings yet. You stopped chasing glory, started to build. Slow hand, sharp heart, iron will. And after round you stayed in the fire. Every fall turned the spark a little brighter. You learned their things, their breath, their pace. You learned how to lose without losing your place. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. They knocked you down, you got back up. Now you drink that pain like a champion cup. Round after round you rise. Round after round you rise. From the floor to the crown, you don't stay down. Long nights, long walks back, salt in your mouth, cracks in the track. Then one clean break, one perfect call. Your team moved like one and they took it all. No more panic, no more please, just calm in the blaze, eyes on the keys. The crowd went wild when your name hit high. You looked at the ring like, this is mine.
All right, hello, welcome everybody to another stream. This should be a fun one. Of course, brand new patch in the Illuvium Arena, or not even just a patch, but an actual update. Did just happen just yesterday, and I'm looking forward to hopping back into ranked right live as we are right here right now with a ranked reset as well. So we're starting off completely fresh, starting from zero, and with a bunch of additional changes. Gonna be looking forward to seeing where we can go from here. Lost Titan, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Darkstar, good to see you as well. Hope you're having a fantastic day as well. Let's get into the game with something I've not been able to see for months. My Link skins are back in the game. It only took 6 to 8 months or so, but we finally do manage to have Link skins back into the game, because of course for the longest time, even if you owned them, they would not actually show up in your inventory, which was definitely extremely irritating. And it was the same thing with the Wave 5 boards as well for Illuvium Beyond. If you were to go into your battle boards, it wouldn't show up. I have it selected. We finally get the opportunity to take a look at this board live. Looking forward to this. Secret Rico, Jamie, good to see you as well. New Omega graphics look nice too. Flish and stuff, I've not even noticed this. So let's hop into game without further ado and take a look. The one thing that I've noticed, because I've only been able to play one game on this current update or on this patch, and it was yesterday before stream. The one only negative that I have right now is that it seems like my FPS as a whole has taken a relatively decent hit. I used to be able to hit 60 FPS on low settings without question. Now you can see there is going to be opportunities or certain moments where it does slow down a little bit. It's not to the point of unplayable, like it's more so just enough to notice kind of thing. But that's my only gripe. At least so far anyway. Got 7 people lined up already. Love to see this. Of course, it's been actually a pretty exciting time here for players around Illuvium between this update, which of course allows for Lynxes to actually be selected. It's just gameplay mechanic stuff, but it's pretty exciting for arena players, alongside a bunch of other changes. And then in regards to Obelisk Rising, we did see that the Phase 2 has basically begun, which is really cool to see. Now, here we go. We've got Zeke and Ethi going to be joining us into this match. And this is one thing that does happen at the beginning of ranked seasons. If you remember, like, basically everybody in their placements will be going up against anybody. So that newcomer queue, where it's those with a 280 rating and lower, all the experienced players are going to be below that threshold as well. We won't be there for long, but if I do manage to run into some new players, I am so sorry. But we'll make do with what we have. And then in terms of team compositions, I have a couple that I want to try for, but at the same time, I'm going to be like pretty lenient on it. I'm not going to be hard focusing any one build for the entire day or anything along those lines, as much as this is for climbing. At the same time, this is also for leveling up. And we'll go from there. Let's see, Ethi. Looks like a newcomer. And then Zeke is also a newcomer. So, love to see that there are new people coming into Illuvium. However, I'm definitely going to be a little bit overpowered, and I do feel bad about that ahead of time. Sota, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Do note, of course, that I am on low graphics settings, so there will be certain things that might not actually show up on my stream, just because straight up my PC can't handle it. So keep that in mind. Your PC might be much different compared to what you see here with me. The board looks great. Can't wait to play with yours later. Oh, seriously, absolutely. I'm ecstatic that we finally have the Illuvium Beyond boards, the Wave 5 boards, actually playable here in game. Let's see. Plenty of augments, that's for sure, to start things off here today. I've watched the upcoming Gamescom games, and I'm glad to see that Illuvium is still ahead of most games graphic-wise. That might be the case, but here's the problem, right? As much as new graphics are flashy, and it's something that you can market the heck out of, the problem is when you do have amazing graphics, you then make the floor of who can actually play your game disastrously higher. And it'll stay that way unless you do happen to have like good low settings. Like you've taken it into consideration and you have a good low settings package, which majority of games do not. Like I know for at least me personally, a big thing that I judge my my games on, or judge games on in general, when it comes to graphics, is it Monster Hunter Wilds level of unplayable? Because in that instance, the Monster Hunter Wilds, I had to play on the equivalent of 144p in terms of resolution, and I still lagged like 30 FPS. And that was absolutely disgusting. Thankfully, Illuvium's never been that crazy. But with every upgrade, you do always have to keep that in mind. Accessibility is huge. I completely agree. Let's see, give you this. There we are. Poor Zeke. You can't see anything on the screen and it's still freezing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm putting this 10-year-old GPU under a lot of pressure. I've already been working it hard. Knock on wood that it keeps holding up for me. Because, yeah, the day that I blow my GPU is the day that you all lose me. Because I cannot replace it. Not a chance. How do you select the links that you want to use? So, down here you used to be able to scout like which types of links is and which types of tier zeros were in the game. This is now, actually let's keep you there, how you select your links type. Show you in just a moment. So let's see, with this team right now that I'm working with, I'm going for some sort of toxic fighter build. Let's say I want to then use my relentless hydro links. I can go to the empty slot, select, and then it will aim all of my linkses to go towards relentless hydro links. So in terms of the tier 2, it means it'll give me the relentless links, and then if I manage to get the fully evolved one, it'll be a relentless hydro links. And again, that is just right down here. Just realized my head was kind of blocking that there for you, so maybe I should move first. But yeah, that's gonna be how you do it. Yeah, poor Zeke and Ethi, they definitely will be having a hard time. And of course, this is the nature, this is how it used to be all the time, right? If you were a newcomer to Illuvium, you would get stuck with pros no matter what. Now the only time that issue arises is just off of ranked reset. Oh, we get Berserker just like that. That was gorgeous. Gorgeous and super satisfying. Let's see, give you more damage, potentially. And keep recycling these, maybe. I don't see a lot of people use Grove Sword, so I'm just trying to do some sort of toxic Berserker build here for our first game of the day. There is a lot of water, so there is the chance that I could be contested for Riptorus. But I'm already off to a pretty fantastic start getting the Monk Gear nice and fast. And a lobby that I'm 100% the favorite in to win. I think I won't be disappointing anybody with the start of this game. Yeah, we'll hit level 5 this round completely on cruise control. Maxed out on economy. Drop that down a little bit, a little loud in my ears. That's better. And now we can actually look for a couple more of our Illuvials. Might inadvertently find the Exalted Monk here with the pace that this is going. Maybe even an Exalted Graco. Yeah, we're right there. I am going to quickly just do that so it fires off onto the field. Right there next to my Cling. That worked out rather nicely. How many Lynxes do we have in game right now? Does not look like many, so I should be able to get a clean cut shot at this. Can't wait for a world where the RTX 5090 becomes a trash GPU that nobody wants anymore. I mean, when that day comes, I am so cooked, because it means that the card that I'm using is just an absolute abysmal abomination. Caribou, there's our Lynx. We're going to get a Relentless Lynx on board. Do something like this, make you tankier. There's another monk here. In this world, I'd probably have way better. One can hope. Because as much as I love the, I love graphics getting better and looking good, I don't know. I've just always worried more so about accessibility. PC gaming as a whole is a rather tough sell sometimes to the average individual. And then when graphic cards just keep shooting up and up and up, and graphics keep getting better, the minimum specs end up going up as well, because you'll see with a lot of developers, unfortunately, like say in my situation, if I'm complaining about how my PC can't handle the game, they'll say something, well, yeah, you have a 10-year-old graphics card, get a better one, duh. And it's like, yeah, that's easy for you to say. Not everybody is in that position. Right, there's yet another Lynx. There's another monk here. I think I'm going to give up on the Grocco dream. Lynx, Lynx. One more time by chance. I'm going to find my Archos. And then one more, again here for Darkstar. How do we choose the specific Lynx you want? So right behind my head, let me move out of the way here. There is this little arrow right above your percentage chances. When you click on this, it'll pop open a window. And see how it shows the Lynx that's active right now? If you want to switch it, you'll see it has a select area on all of the potential Lynxes. The only time you can't select a certain Lynx is if there's a tier 0 that already coincides with the type and the class that you're looking for. Just honestly, probably to prevent things like, say, 8 nature, 8 water being hit too easily. Probably a good change. But yeah, you would just then click on whatever box that you want. And that's how you'd switch. Omnivamp, I like that idea. I also like this Exalted Monk Gear that we did just pick up. One more Lynx away from getting our big gun. There we go. Hello, beautiful. Relentless Hydro Lynx is here and ready to play. You can take my augments now. And now we can just cruise over towards level 7, where hopefully a Riplance will be meeting with us. Might not be necessarily a clean-cut shot, but we'll try. More damage. I like more damage. Just in case somebody gets an Umber or something like that, because I'm not necessarily going for that. Can I show the Lynx's Omega? I'll see if it naturally shows up here in a second. Did I choose the Relentless Hydro Lynx specifically? Yes, I would love it to join me for a toxic Berserker build. Here, Archos, you hang on to that instead, actually. Now let's see if we can get a better look of that Omega. I'm not sure if you're talking about the text or the animation. Where'd you go? You're over here. It's killing things too quickly. I think I maybe saw it once and that was about it. I mean, have you controlled it in a way? Would someone else get it in this lobby? So anybody can pick whatever Lynx they want, but at the... Oh, that's what you wanted. I'll get that here for you in a second here, Zico Perico. Yeah, with this one being a water type, it then gives you energy regen. And because we now have the... I'll get back to the other soda in a second, sorry. Now that we have the True Sight on the Ranger, let's get rid of this. We'll recycle it for some sort of other damage-based augment. And then add Grocco as an additional tank. Yeah, all water Lynxes have the same buff. It's all done by element. So with the Lynxes in this instance, so every time they Omega, energy regen comes through. If it's attack, or no, if it's fire, it's attack damage. If it's earth, it's not mitigation, I think it's resistances. Then, or physical resistance, that's what it is. Air is energy resistance, and then nature is healing over time. Now, when I'm trying to go back to what Soda said here a second ago. When I go and pick this and controlled it some way, or would everyone in this lobby get it? Yeah, so everybody in this lobby can pick whatever links they want, but the thing still remains that the same amount of lynxes are still in the pool. So you're still contesting for baby lynxes, but everybody could have different fully evolved lynxes. Like I was playing in a game yesterday where I had the fully evolved Stoic Flora lynx, but then somebody else went for I think it was a nimble Zephyr lynx or something like that. So it's pretty cool that you can have like multiple different types of lynxes in the game all at the exact same time. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, my lynx is going to be an absolute monster. How do I control the one? That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier here, right behind my head. If you click this arrow, it pops open the window, and then you can actually select whichever lynx you want. Any type and any class, as long as a tier 0 is not already using it. That's the big difference. Maybe we get Foe involved here for a little bit of extra DPS. I need to level this guy. He's still just a little guy, 38 on that level currently. Yeah, there we go. Very fast, 3 toxic Berserker, 5 fighters. Heck, I can even go for maybe a little bit more if I wanted to get Mule involved. Go for 7 fighter. Yeah, Stoic Hydrolynx plus Water Grocko would be so strong in water. And the fact, too, that... I mean, water's already got 2 bulwarks, right? So it's already a relatively tanky... tanky team. But adding 2 more, and that could truly be the door opener for, like, an Umber, for example. That'd be a little bit devastating, and that's why you can't do a Stoic Hydrolynx at the same time as a Water Grocko. Because, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of absolutely busted combinations that would be very difficult to balance. Let's see here. Somebody else went for Riptorus, so I'm not going to even force the Rip Lance right now. Does Adorito need levels? I mean, you're 55. Let's give somebody else a shot here. Right. Let's give you a shot. And Emil, you could come play too. Let's give you one of these here too, Riptor. And how about a shield for your troubles as well? Why not? Again, I am 100% the favorite in this lobby. Unfortunately, the 2 newcomers that we did have in the game here today got knocked out 7th and 8th. Absolutely hate to see it. Definitely don't take any pleasure in beating up on newcomers. But again, thankfully you don't have to deal with that the entire season anymore. But right off of ranked reset, it does happen sometimes, unfortunately. And then in regards to not going for Rip Lance, because I see that one of the bots do have their own Riptorus already, and then there are a couple of other Riptors around the field, instead of just trying to hard roll against it, I'm just going to level up instead. I'm just going to get more bodies on the field, which in turn should allow me to just win more based off of numbers alone, and likely outlive the players that are doing the hard roll, or the contested roll. And it wouldn't be a bad idea either if I can potentially get Forest or get Phosphorus instead for a couple levels. I very rarely get to use them actually in a ranked matchup. Like I was showing before, my little foe is only level 38, for example. Forest might have barely broken 40, I'm not even sure. And then Phosphorus is like 40. It's pretty much fresh out of the Illuvidex. There's a foe. Keep myself above 70. I mean, optimally, I level up to 9, throw Adorito in here, now I've got even more support for my fighters. And then if I really wanted to, I have a Crunk available as a third bulwark to get to level 10 for. With it being a mass fighter team, though, I don't like having too many melee units in the board, because the fighters, of course, they need to be up close and personal to get their damage done. And there's been many times when I've been trying to play fighter and I end up body blocking my own units because I have just too many melee units out. So I definitely need to think about the next step, which would be some range support. And that's where Adorito is going to come in here. Now, is there any other Riptoruses? There is not. So I could technically go for some rolling if I wanted to right now, and I'd be a-okay in doing so. Maybe we'll do it next round, see if we can get Forest in here. Yeah, level 14. So yeah, I just absolutely out-level the entirety of this lobby. And I'm probably not going to get much experience because of this, but that's fine. That's a-okay to me. I'd rather the bots be weak so that newcomers coming in aren't getting stomped just because there's one player with high levels. I know then the argument is, well, my top deck in the game can't get any experience anymore, so like I need my bots to be like just about the same level as me regardless of which lobby I'm playing in. That is such a top level problem that it has to happen. It can't be the way that it's been before. I know in the past, the bot lobbies, or the bot levels, were scaled up so highly so that certain very vocal community members and longtime players were complaining that they weren't getting any experience for destroying newcomers and destroying lobbies. How do you think they feel? But this was also the same kind of player whose logic would then be, well, like I didn't spend that much. I only spent like, or it's not that expensive rather to get a good deck. It's just maybe like a couple $100 or couple $1,000, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're just privileged. So that is a very top 0.1% problem. Not that they don't matter, because 100% they do. But other people shouldn't have to completely suffer for the 0.1%. At least, in my opinion. Yeah, screw it. We're just going to get to level 10 and go from there. There's Forus. Yeah, my Forus isn't even level 40. It's super low still. Here, a little bit of additional support from a Fern, maybe. Oh, you're level 1. Let's switch that. That's better. There's my Fern. I figure my Illuvials are already attacking super fast. Why don't we make them attack even faster? We did get legendary augments in this game, but again, it's probably not going to be a factor whatsoever. Of course, the beauty with getting the 7 fighters as well, getting the additional threshold where you're now healing for a part of the damage that you're actually dealing. So you don't even necessarily need a support, but it just makes the team feel borderline unkillable when you do finally have one anyway. Because yeah, that's just absolutely devastating. Yeah, never mind the Gnarl. My Jotun gets to join us here for a brief moment. And next round, if I don't get the kill shot, so will Phosphorus. Yeah, we absolutely slaughter. We're going to get through that before even Phosphorus gets to go onto the field. So a nice little warm-up to get things started, starting the season off right. And that's what I do like, at least when you do win your lobbies in a placement match. It does give you a ton of points right off the rip. So that way players like myself, who should not be playing in the under 1280 ratings, gets out of there relatively quickly. I mean, this is still a decent amount of experience, all things considered. So I'm happy with it. All right, let's keep going. Doesn't get much better than that, though, in regards to control on that lobby. Like, I had absolutely no pressure. Unfortunately, the entire game was able to sit at 70 credits the entire way, get all the way up to level 10. Heck, even finding the Illuvials I wanted wasn't too bad because they weren't necessarily super contested. So we'll take it. But as we are loading, or not loading in, but we're queued up here for the next match, I do, of course, want to give the reminder to everybody that, of course, tomorrow we will be doing Illuvium Arena House League. And if you want to get involved with that, there is the sign-up sheet right in the description of the video here on the YouTube side of things. And I'm looking forward to that one. Of course, when you do sign up, if you want to have an ownership off experience so that everybody is on the exact same playing field, make sure you sign up for Caribou Cup. And then if you want the harder version where you have them, and the option where you want to play with the Illuvials you own, where levels and TPI stats, that all matters, join Monarch Masters. Both divisions have Illuvial prizes provided by Illuvium themselves. They support House League, they support the community events, and I'm very, very thankful for that. That way you can build up your Illuvial collection just by playing the game. That's better. I had my audio cranked way too loud there. Then I'm also in progress as well, trying to level up my latest character in the Obelisk Rising playtest. Once we do end up getting our ranger up to say 30 again, I'll look to do some more Obelisk Rising streams. We had a pretty cool stream on Monday where we just kind of had 2 hours. How fast, or in 2 hours, what is the best water team we can make? And it was pretty good. We managed to get Riptor, we managed to get Atlas, Caribou, a couple tier zeros as well thrown into the mix as well, and then I already had a Slappin from previous. But of course that save file did have to go, with there being the latest update for the playtest. It was highly recommended that players go and start over, because the experience would be different. And then sometimes certain quest lines would just not work because of changes. So I did start over. I think I'm borderline level 20 right now. I had a pretty interesting grind session here with a player named Daniel and a Surfer Dude. We were at my favorite grinding spot in Taiga Boreal, probably for a good 20-30 minutes, and we got our Illuvials and our levels pretty close to level 20. So I'm definitely happy about that. Expedited the process very, very quickly. And I look forward to doing more streams for Obelisk Rising. That'll definitely return sometime next week. Darkstar, I think I'm the only one that liked the stream. I think that deserves some community rescue points for that. Hey, you got bonus points because you played in 2 games last week, you. If I had an endless supply of Illuvials, maybe I'd consider, but unfortunately, it is completely based off of donations, and then I unfortunately can't afford to even get Illuvials for myself, let alone extras. So it's few and far between. Whenever community donations come through, it's absolutely huge. Keeps it alive. I know I have to do a complete audit on my current inventory, because community rescue is helping out a lot of people right now, and that's absolutely incredible. But I do have to maybe start getting a little bit more scarce due to, or not scarce, but I might have to be a little bit more frugal as to how far I extend it moving forward, because I might actually start running out of Illuvials. I've already broken my rule where I wanted to keep 2 of each Illuvial before I start giving it out as prizing, for the sake of potentially breeding. And I've just been giving them out to players that I've seen need them for their collections, so we'll see. Maybe some things go my way and I can start to replenish it myself as well. Maybe that's something I can do as well. Of course, I do have a creator code for Illuvium. If you use Silent or code Silent on the Illuvidex, I do get a small kickback whenever fuel purchases are made, for example. And there is a world where I can turn that kickback into packs that maybe then supplies the community rescue. But it has been very quiet. I know I haven't actually earned anything from the creator code in at least 3 months, or 2-3 months. So it's not necessarily a guaranteed thing by any means. Any news on breeding and evolving in the MMO? So breeding, I've not heard absolutely anything about. That was still, of course, a kind of a wish list item here for myself. In regards to evolving, it behaves pretty much identically to what we remember right now from Overworld. So where you would get the gems, the gem fragments, combine it into another, or a fully made gem, and then you get 3 of the Illuvial that you want, and you essentially send their essences together, their souls together, to make the new evolved Illuvial. So for Sota, since I think you're very familiar with Overworld, what am I saying? It's the exact same way, pretty much. Just in order to get fragments, the gem fragments, you have to actually knock out that tier and that type of Illuvial in the Overworld. Or not in the Overworld, in the MMO. And it is, at least as it stands right now, it is a very rare drop. So there is a little bit of a grind. but not too bad overall. See. Likes aren't updated in real time as a viewer. That makes sense. I almost did it again. Titan, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Still getting used to the new name. Now let's see. Depending on what weapon we get, will determine the links I'll go for. And see if we can do some fun. We have a full bot lobby, so I can do something just silly and stupid. Let's see. Bulwark, Empath, maybe. Shoutouts to being able to re-roll each of these one more time. Oh, okay. I've been having fun with this, actually. Let's do this. What a start, too. Let's get Appon in. One of my very weak side Illuvials are actually my empaths. So what I'm going to do... So, one of the combinations that you cannot make naturally in the game, or one of the Illuvials that are not naturally in the game, unless it's in a TPO, is a fire empath. So I'm going to make my links a fire empath. Or depends on which way we want to do this here, actually. Let's see. You can make multiple changes, so we'll see very shortly. So I'm thinking to myself, Inferno or Shock? Resistances, we'll just get his beefy. Okay, if we're getting a start like this, I think it has to be Shock. I am going to make the change, bring this to a Virtuous Zephyr Links. And we're going to have a little fun here in this game. Yeah, unfortunate that there's no actual players in this lobby today, or in this one in particular. But we'll still have some fun with it as a experimental kind of composition. So the idea that I have in mind is going to be Shock Mystic. Because Mystics make you just naturally unbearably tanky. And of course, in the latest balance patch, we did see that Shock now actually shreds resistances. So it does allow for like long-term or say Shock gameplay benefiting if the round goes long. So let's give this a shot. Kind of do something like this. The fading effects threw me off a little bit there. Yeah, now I know you could absolutely make or get an air empath for not for free, but it's very easy. Of course, there's two. Like Vermilia's right here. Kuka can happen naturally. But both of them don't necessarily behave well in a corner composition. You kind of would rather have something stationary, like in your corner, in your bunker. So that's why I'm going to favor the links. In fact, let's make the links the tank, why don't we? Just for the time being. Get silly with it. I still need to find my Appon. Because you can get Mystic started pretty early, thanks to the Greater Appon having very easy access. I should probably be doing it at level 5, though, so let me wait one more. Thankfully, I've just been using the freebies. Do something like this. Let's give TB Ruko that, and you can have this. That's a decent little setup here. Get everybody all huddled up in the corner. Not on the corner, right dead center. And we'll try this out. It might be stupid if I lose against a bot. That's my own issue. Especially since it does look like the bots are actually kind of tough when you look at levels of at least the Ranger. That Ranger is level 43. But then some of the Illuvials I'm seeing here are like in the 20s, so it's not as much of a one-sided fight as I would be used to seeing, for example. We are a level down, so we're going to still take a ton of heat. Might even lose this one still. The one thing, if you're going pure empath right off the rip, you do not leave much wiggle room for yourself in terms of damage. So while you might survive for a very long time, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the fight. Here, Fleesh, you can leave. Some Rye will gladly accept you on board. Come join your fellow fire brethren. And now that we're level 5, we can look around. There's a Kuka. A Winx will take as well. Archie will absolutely take you. Lynx, come on through. And we'll end the run there. Assuming I could take the win, I should be able to stay at 70. In a worst case scenario, I can always sell off the Kuka or something and stay at 70 credits. The one thing I'm going to do for myself for the sake of my sanity, we'll wait till this battle's done here, but I'm seeing a lot of like extra effects behind the Illuvials when they're moving, and personally, that's getting me a little bit of a seasick kind of feeling. So I'm going to quickly see what happens when I turn on the, I believe it's a setting for motion sickness reduction. There we go. Call me soft, but it was actually making me dizzy a little bit. Okay. I have too many things going on the bench at the same time. There we go. We have our Mystics, and we have yet another T-Ruro. There's another Lynx. One. Not quite, but there's Rye. We're on absolute cruise control to potentially get shock and finding the Squiz. Okay, that's kind of sick. So if we can actually hit all of our pieces, we will have probably one of the fastest 4 shock team compositions I've ever seen. So 4 shock Mystic is what we're going to be going for. This is absolutely lining up beautifully. And then when you think of a traditional Mystic team, you're kind of thinking of a bunch of defense protecting a Scoriox, right? Well, with this, it's protecting an Aphisto instead. All right, there's one. How many T-Ruos are we looking at on the field? I see just the one Baby Roo, and that is it. You know what, if you want to keep coming out to play, I'm not going to tell you no. Okay, so 1 shock. Let's do this. Mystic Shock, that's now online. And we'll let it run like this. I could have had probably 3 shock if I took the Winx out and put Squiz in. But we'll let it run for now. Yeah, this is perfect. Not only is this team defensive, but it does not mind when the round goes long, because the damage just starts amping up. The environment, my affinity, is doing the damage for me that my team doesn't naturally have until I get a Aphisto. And then no better place to showcase this than a bot game, where I definitely do have significant advantage. Alright, Kuka, there's another empath. Let's see. We're gonna probably end up with our Chelian, aren't we? Yeah, there we go. The big turtle. gonna come out to play. So double massive AoE heal. I kind of like what I'm looking at. 2 more Rue Cubs. And then we're in an absolute gorgeous scenario. Let's see, tankiness. Sure, Phase Breaker. Why not? Just for the invulnerability. Not the invulnerability, but the untargetability. All right, Rue Cub. One more. One more cup. Any chance that we find this? There we go. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shock. That's disgusting. Let's get our team into a bit of a better spot. Do something like this for the time being. I should optimally switch the Appon and the Lynx around, I do think. But let's give it a shot. Let's see how much this Lynx can tank. Here, let's take a look at the damage depth here. Like, this is absolutely disgusting. It looks like only the Ranger took any damage whatsoever. And we're just blowing him up. Alright, now we gotta get to level 8 or level 9, though. So, of course, with a Mystic team, you could absolutely get screwed for yourself if other people beat you to your late game Illuvials. At least traditionally, that's how it would be. Here, let's do some... I want to get maximum amount of area of effect for my Lynx. Snuggle in kind of like that. And then leave the Rue Cub here to help buff Squiz. I think will be the play. Did not realize I was going up against a rogue team. Let's see if we get punished for it. Gosh, look at that damage. Riley did the tanking. And it still worked out pretty decently. Alright. Never punished. Let's see, how many Adoritos or Ebbs do we have on the field? There's a couple of Ebbs, but at least there's no floods. So not bad, all things considered. Level 7, Kookaloos, come join. As I say, no floods. Okay, so then in this instance where I'm not fighting, or I'm stuck fighting, rather, for some of these Mystic Illuvials, very similar to the last game, I just have to worry about leveling up. As much as I'd love to hard focus and try to get the complete 4 Mystic, the likelihood of me being able to do that right now is extremely unlikely. By rolling so heavily at level 5 to get the Riley and the TB Ruko, I lost out on that opportunity. Or normally when you play Mystic, you just kind of grab the Appon and then you immediately just power level all the way up to 8 or 9. So I'm very behind if this were a traditional Mystic build. So I will say this right here, right now, while this build is effective, while this build is fun, caution if you try this against an actual set of players. Because what I'm showing you is basically a best case scenario. And players will absolutely punish you for this. Yeah, normally a team comp like this Inferno team would kind of scare at least a Mystic team in the mid game. But just look at all that damage, man. That is so satisfying. The team just defends as the shock just rains down. And I can make this team even more obnoxious since we were very lucky and got our Chellian into the swing of things here as well. That means we do already have one verdant alluvial, and finding a twine is usually not that difficult. If I could add a twine to this team, I might end up giving up 7 empath, but that's probably fine if I then have that big AoE heal that the verdants provide. So, like, there we go. There's the one cling already. I'll use my freebie here, I think, as well. Gonna miss this time, but that's okay. Level up. We can then potentially... Let's get Ebb out for a little bit of experience. Ebb is basically going to be our backline tank of sorts. Just there to absorb in case of rogues. You're getting only 30 FPS even on low graphics settings. The game doesn't feel very optimized after the latest patch. I will 100% agree. And I know I personally have felt a performance hit. Let's do this one, the Crushing Aftershock. Because, like, in terms of what's in the patch, I absolutely love what I'm seeing. But there is absolutely a performance hit that is noticeable. Yeah, I want to put Ebb in here. But I also want to make sure that Kookaloo can escape. It isn't going to be able to, so I think it's Rye that has to go into the corner. It's a little bit of a hole there, unfortunately. Support crates, I'll take the Steadfast. The AoE resistances over time with a corner comp like this is definitely nice. I could absolutely position better too. I'm still set up as my early game positioning. I need to do better and get into late game positioning. Because yeah, this Shock Squad is just absolutely on cruise control. Combat rhythm on top of all that would be absolutely glorious. Alright. Late game positioning. With there. Or we'll do this. Squiz, Blood, Ranger, Archelian. Slightly moved over to allow for the Roo Cub to sit there. Links in the middle. You go here. Additional stun bot. And the final piece of the puzzle. There we go. Late game setup all set. Now we just need our Illuvials. Next level, the next piece of the puzzle will be to throw in our Ador. That will give us 7 empath. Now, in this current positioning, my Lynx is a little bit out of range from helping my Squiz, but it might have just been how that battle was shaped up. If someone was diving in onto me, I might be okay. Yeah, level up to 9, add Adorito, or Ador. Level 10, a Twine, hopefully, and then there's Verdant involved. And then we're just going to absolutely cruise. Oh, never mind, there is actually Adorito. Do I have room for a Winx? Maybe depending on what team I'm going up against, I can make a swap here and there. Yeah, like, say if I'm going up against a team like this, for example, where there's a bunch of spellcasters involved, maybe I take Kuka out, put Winx in instead. Level, Adorito, you go there. Rye, you're inadvertently going to be my tank, but I'm sure you can handle yourself for a brief second, right? My Apon's going to get absolutely blown up. We're finally going to find at least a little bit of resistances. But I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. We still don't have a traditional super carry onto this team, but we're just able to blow it up, I think, just by pure levels. Squiz. Ebb. There's still a few people. Well, look, this is going to be really weird, because I'm going to have basically one shot at hitting the build that I want. Because there's a handful of people that were holding pieces. I mean, there's a geyser here, I guess. Maybe I don't even worry about Twine unless it just kind of comes naturally. Let's go to 70. Blood. And there we go. The Quinks is going to join us here as well. And considering they have that TNT in the background, I wouldn't mind charming that around every once in a while. And then if we knock out Ghost Loot, that should then, in theory, bring all of the Floods back into the pool. And I might have one round to try and truly maximize this build. Yeah, we're going to absolutely crush that one. Yeah, I'm going to have one round here. So I'm not even going to bother with the Twine. Kuka, your time is complete. Thank you. Tori's going to try and shoot for Squid, Ador, and Fly. In terms of being contested, I am completely uncontested from the player I'm going up against. So let's see if we can max out a tier 4 and 2 tier 5s in one roll session. Quickly throw these around here as well. Squid, Ebb. Oh, I just rolled past an Ebb, so that's a little disappointing. Alright, Mystics are here and ready to play. We all in? One more time, this is what the Magnum Opus sort of looks like here for this team, except I'd also have an Aphisto in this team as well. But an absolute brick wall that just rains on you, just like that. There we go. Now we're almost past that 1280 rating, so hopefully one more game if it goes our way, and then we will be outside of the newcomer queue. Alright, Riley just hit level 50. Let's go, Riley. Beautiful. We're just timing your game so you don't have to face me. No, I get it. I know when we do play, love our games together, but I know I do have the level advantage. So I definitely get that that can be tough to deal with, 100%. I hate having to roll so much gold in one round. It is surprising how often that playing optimally in terms of collecting gold or collecting your credits gets punished by the human factor that you just can't go fast enough to roll through it all. I know personally that happens to me so many times. It's ridiculous. In majority of scenarios, like that last one that we just did, I only rolled past one ebb. Normally in instances like that, I have 2 or 3 human error plays that would end up punishing me in the end. Thankfully, I did that one pretty good. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to I feel like it's almost okay to start rolling ahead of time, even though you might miss out on that one piece of interest, that one extra credit for your interest. But if you don't have enough time to get the pieces that you want and spend it, then what is that good extra piece of credits worth? Fortunately, the optimal play in tournament play is almost to never save that much money, and ranked, it's different, though. Absolutely. Now, at least personally, while I may have watched a ton of tournament play, and casted it, of course, executing in that kind of style is definitely not something I'm familiar with. From what I can tell, it does seem like players like to hover around, say, 40 to 50 instead of 70. That way it's like soft spending, but then not truly going too crazy, if that makes sense. Get your 5 credits. I mean, not to bring up TFT, but I believe that's basically the TFT play, right? Get up to 50 gold and then just keep yourself above 50. I know, of course, in Illuvium, you're allowed to go all the way up to 70, so plus 7 gold or credits every single round. But then are you just waiting for too long at 70? That might be definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah, that was a pretty fun build. Shock Mystic, I really enjoyed that. Of course, caution though if you use that versus actual players, especially players that know what they're doing. That build essentially gets shut down by other players scooping up Ebbs, other players scooping up Adors, and then whether you're going for Squiz, it's not necessarily a very contested Illuvial, but again, that's a late game tier 5 unit, so you need to be level 9, level 10 before you can really start looking for it. And you don't have much damage outside of the shock affinity before that part. And then players as well, if you want to say, never mind that, I'm just going to have the one Squiz to get 4 shock, but then I'll go for Scoriox. Well, Scoriox is still one of the more popular Illuvials in the game, so you're going to absolutely be contested, especially since Inferno Arcanite is still seen as one of the better teams, if not the best team currently in the game. You usually hover around 30 gold. I know you're usually chasing Axodon, and that thing is about as elusive as it can be, too, so I definitely understand. And so I think you never go above 70 after round 12, eh? So that big, okay, I know round 12, round 13 is that big spend down right after the mid-game NPC round. I know that's where a lot of players like to go absolutely nuts. At least that's how it used to be. Because thing too, for that kind of play style, with round 13, it's a decisive round because if anybody is playing Rogue, that's about the time where they have comfortably got their footing in round 7, and they just got a bunch of credits to make that extremely influential roll down to see whether or not they hit slash in or whether or not they get Malura. And with that being the meta for so long, it probably still is, to be honest, for at least a little bit. I mean, Soda, we saw your rogues. That was absolutely disgusting on Friday, but in a good way. But if anybody else is trying to mimic that, or for that kind of power spike, yeah, round 13 seems to be your way to go. You know what? Speaking of rogues, I think I might have a penguin that wants to play. There, Valente, you can let you come onto the field. Yeah, you're level 50. You get some experience here, little Valente. The one thing that I am, like, seriously super excited about in regards to Obelisk Rising, once I've done my playthrough, because when it comes to the main playthrough for Obelisk Rising, I do not want to bring in any of my Illuvials. I want to have an absolute pure experience with the gameplay as it is. But once I'm in that end game stage, I'll start bringing them in. When I'm doing raiding or dungeons, or I'm just looking to level, I'll bring them into the game then. And the biggest thing that I want to level immediately, all of these poor tier zeros that I have that are stuck at like level 30 because I can never keep them around long enough to actually get any sort of leveling like at all. I genuinely cannot wait to level them up. Now, I could genuinely die here from this player here. Hector, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Beautiful. Yeah, you also have the best rogue scheme, which helps, but I notice a lot of players struggle with the rolling and level up timings. Nope, I definitely agree. That's why, like, there was times in the past where it felt like rogues can roll their face on the keyboard and make top 4 in an 8-player lobby. Thankfully, those days are gone, but you can definitely see the rogue players that are alright to the times of the rogue players being incredible. And it's good to see that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we've got the granite variants potentially. Yep. Quake Maulers. Let's go. All right. Valente. Let's see. Grilla. We'll need you here. Actually, in fact, Grilla, you're probably going to be the one that I want to have the damage. You're 43 compared to, what, 30? Yeah, let's do that. So Quake Maulers, I'm not sure if this is exactly the go-to option anymore for a rogue-based build. I've been seeing a lot more Verdant Cleaver. Or Vinebound Cleaver. I call it Verdant Cleaver because I think that it used to be called Verdant Cleaver. Or am I just skewing it because I know Verdant is actually the affinity that is associated with that team comp? But, oh, big time combat rhythm. That is absolutely gorgeous. You just reached level 60 rogue team. Congratulations. Please let me know when you're playing so I can avoid it. Holy smokes, that's absolutely incredible. Nicely done. Okay. So as a part of our links for today, let's first and foremost get ourselves situated. See, something nimble. It can't be water. You know what? Damage. Wait, no. We could finally use this. It's been too long. Okay. I'm gonna go for the air one. If you're really min-maxing, you're probably going for the fire links in this situation. But here's the thing. I have had a Nimble Zephyr Lynx that was gifted to me from Dr. Spoon on my birthday, which has been months ago. I have never been able to play it because the RNG very rarely ever gives me it. And on the times where it does give me it, it did not make sense to actually put it into the team comp that I was running. So if things go my way and the bots don't scoop up the Lynxes, let this be the first time that Doc gets to take to the field. Of course, with it being the Quake Maulers, you can get granite very quickly on this as long as you get up to the TNT. So that's going to be my goal. Let's get a bunch of these early game rogues. And then while I'm fishing for these early game rogues, maybe I can also look for some lynxes. Only the one other bot has the one baby lynx, and that's it. So we can absolutely go a little bit further. Doka, no thank you. Oh, Pengu. There you are, Pengu. I'll sit here. I'm going to try and hover 50 this game. So not full spend, but also not completely casual in nature, or too heavy on the safety side. Or the economy side, rather. Okay, so that now adds Predator to the mix. I do not want to use my composite chip right now. Because, of course, Vanguard is Exodia. That is what you need in a best-case scenario. I think this is the aggressive option, and if I need to switch later, I can. My Lynx is 41. My Gorilla is definitely higher than that, so that part's fine. Pengu, come play. I need to get some levels onto Pengu, so I'm completely happy with that. The one thing I almost bypassed on as well, I'm going to knock myself under 50 for it, but the Lura is here. I definitely need Lura. As this battle's going on, let's take a look for the rest of the Vanguards. There is one person running a Pengu. And one person has a Lura, but nobody's evolved it or anything like that. But the potential for being slightly contested is definitely there. Yeah, not what we're going to worry about trying to get past Greater Valente. Yeah, level 60 rogue team. That's incredible. Congrats again, Hector. Okay, Chuko. Chuko, Rue. It's giving me even more gorillas, but I'm not sure if I actually want to go that route. Tokofi. And we will miss. Okay. Here, everybody go that way first, please. What I should probably do is switch out to the Valente for Lura. Get something at least a little bit beefier. But what we lack for in tank, we absolutely have with damage. The Gorilla and the Ranger having that additional execution damage, definitely a nice boon to the team. There's another Lynx. So let's see, Graco, thank you for your service. Allura, come join you, get that part. Giving us up to 6. Lynx. And there is Tachikoro. Let's get yet another Predator online. Then Lynxes, and Revo is here too. We are really close to having an absolute disgusting early game. One can argue that I should probably be level 6 to give myself some better chances towards tier 3s. But this would be the best case scenario for tier 2s. What do you think about Lynxes having such a big role in the meta? What do you think? I absolutely love the fact that they are not only going to be like just heavily influential, but I mean there's actually a purpose to focusing Lynxes now. But again, it's still like you still have to hit it. And if more people are actually chasing Lynxes now, personally, I think that's a good thing, because I think the fact that they're this strong is going to be balanced out by the fact that they're sought after now. Hello, Doc. They have arrived, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Let's switch these over, why don't we? 7 Rogue, 3 Predator. Now let's just get to level 7. But then it's also determining of what you're meaning by this strong. Like, if, in terms of maybe having a ton of attention right now, that's definitely noteworthy. But obviously, in terms of the Omega, where they're getting their entire team a boost, like, that's going to be super strong, but at least now that we can actually select the Lynxes that we want, we then know exactly which Lynxes we have to hit. Antochino's never beaten you before, but now he has multiple times with Lynx, and that's just going to be, unfortunately, an adjusting period. For the longest time, we've been taught to disregard the Lynxes, other than the baby Lynxes, right? But I can see a world now where tournament play makes a big change to where it's not just picking out the baby Lynx, but now people are probably going to pick out the middle stage evolution, because let's be honest, if you're playing competitive, you're going for 2 baby Lynxes already, right? So what's stopping you from then grabbing yet another one? Bruh. Okay, that's disgusting. What the hell? We've never gotten 2 like these. That's ridiculous. Okay, Rue, I'm not going to worry about you. 7. Okay, Granite now online here for my Ranger. Let's throw them right into the thick of things. And this is Doc. My absolutely gorgeous Nimble Zeppelins. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to be greedy as sin right now. We've got 2 of these composite chips. I'm going to recycle that because that's not what I'm getting. Predator chip. Yes. Lynx. Oh, I didn't get it fast enough. We're going to do a Predator chip on the Lynx. And then I'm going to save the last one for Vanguard. I've never seen, or it may have happened before, but this is super rare. You don't usually get 2 composite chips like this. Thank you so much. But yeah, we're now in a spot where the Lynxes aren't just all about the baby Lynxes anymore. There's actually a purpose to going heavy into them, because you can get exactly the type of Illuvial you want. And I personally find that amazing. Okay, level 7. How many stabbins? There's 1. Okay, so Fickle's going for it. We might be a little bit late on the rogue train here. So how many are we talking? Just the 1 on the bench. Let's see. Can I at least get stabbing? There's a Lura. Potentially look for Scarabok, but not right now. We're gonna get shut down. Is there another way that we can pivot this? Could potentially... I mean, I got rid of the T-Roo already, right? I was gonna say, you could potentially pivot this into Revenant instead. But I don't know. Rampy's kind of cool. Maybe... let's see. Let's bounce between the 2. What if we tried the Phantomness? Ooh, let me think. There's only 1 person running Artes. There's a couple of aces on the board, but that's not too concerning. And we're sitting at level 7 anyway. Honestly, I think that might be the play. So the Wrecking player here, this bot in particular, that's not an insult. They're actually a bot, I believe. But they're the only one that has Poodle Mox. They're the only one that has the ace line. I'm sitting here at level 7 trying to roll for Pangu, but at the same time, I might as well look for Artace. And there they are. So Artace, you're not a rogue, so I can't do that part. We'll need to get you in at another level, I imagine. Yeah, I'd have to be level 8 to truly get what I want. I'd have Scion enabled as well, because Tatofi, or not Tatofi, Tianti is going to be here as well. We're just doing so much damage. Over 9,000 there for Doc. Disgustingly awesome. Do we kill off Wrecking here? That would be huge, because we're going into an NPC round. Right at the right time, we do. Okay. Let's do that then. A very quick ramp fight too, eh? Okay, let's add you onto the squad. And we'll pause here for a minute. Does Predator affect abilities? First auto attack, okay. There was a part of me wondering if I put a Predator chip onto a ramp fight and it jumped into the sky, does all of that damage become execution? That would be disgusting. Okay. Is this a route that we can maybe do? No. No. Yeah, we'll just stick with this. Yeah, Ranger is basically going to be our tank. There's another Lura. Gonna go down the 50. Ace. Stabbing. There we go. I am running out of good pieces. And we'll stop there. Alright. We'll take a look at some of these augments while this fight is going here. Shield crate. This isn't going to do me much, but we'll take it anyway. Port crate. Safeguard. Of course, I'm going to get resisted by the one player that is also going for Rogue. And they are much further ahead at trying to get the Vanguard side of things. Used to only use the one Lynx, the Air Fighter. It's an awesome one. I definitely like that one. Predator's execution works with Divine-Bound Cleaver's AoE damage. That sounds pretty incredible. Okay, Nature, no. Healing, maybe. Tier 5, no. Scion, no. Tier 4. Do I have any Tier 4 carries? No, I guess we're going for the heal, which isn't optimal for the rogue side of things that we're doing, but we'll roll with it anyway. Let's make you as tanky as we can get here. If I make the very... Oh, I don't even have a tank on board here to go for Vanguard if I really wanted to, eh? Alright. There's another Lura. Would really, really love to be able to just get this Monarch and then move up. Okay, that's just too satisfying, watching the Lynx go back and forth with empowered attack, execution, left, right, and center. That was kind of beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. If Loopsaw dies, that's another set of stabbins in there. Same thing with Toastbot. How much credits does Fickle have? Not too much. Yeah. Now I know Vanguard is your go-to. Would definitely love to include it, but I'm definitely running up against the wall here. For at least a little bit. Would love to be able to just pick up this ace, though. We are right there. We're 2 away. There's another stab, and we'll gladly take that. Go to, say, 30. There's another stabbin'. And I have not been actually moving my Illuvials at all. I've just been essentially letting them play default. Ranger, dive on through there as well. And this was a part of the bite here. I did say that I was going to play greedy. And because I didn't get the clean shot onto Vanguard, it does put me in a bit of an awkward spot. Optimally, if I did not make this a Predator chip, I could have waited till I got stabbing, got a tank out onto the board, and used the chip once my Ranger was a Vanguard. Might have been a little bit more super effective that way, but we do have one player down. So I do want to roll a bit more. And we might just get skunked here. We are going to find Monarch, though. Okay. How do we want to do this here? Okay. I think we'd get rid of the granite portion of our team. Okay, this is going to be Predator Phantom. And then what I think I will do is take the Predator augment off of my Lynx so that the Monarch can get the Predator buff from afar. And get execution damage from range. That's going to be what I think I'm going to try and do here. Okay. So it would be situated kind of like so. Could go for a... Could technically do 4 Phantom if I really wanted to try it. But then again, I already have the Predator chip, so why would I do that? Eh. Remember what I was saying about the experienced rogue players being able to showcase themselves much better than just some average... than an average player? Exhibit A. Yeah, because I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off, but I am getting so many composite synergies that it's not even funny. This is actually kind of ridiculous. Phase Breaker. Onto you. Let's let you snowball for now, I think. Phantom? Vanguard. Even better. Lynx, you're now going to be a Vanguard. There we go. The Lynx is now a Vanguard. And boom. They're gone. Alright, here we go. Rogue Showdown. This bot did manage to get Malura. I think I just chip and try to see if I get another Phantom or Vanguard, right? We do get the Phantom. Or do we even just proc Inferno? Ooh, I think we proc Inferno. That sounds pretty fun. Okay, Lynx, you are going to be Inferno. I like what Sota's cooking here. Let's get Predator onto Stabbin'. Let's actually make you the hard carry. Even though you're a tier 3, but we all know that stabbing is just basically a tier 6 in disguise. Alright. Granite Inferno for Predator Phantom Vanguard. That was a mouthful, but so is his team. Let's see how fast can we potentially delete this squad. We're going up against something a little bit more traditional, and we will cleanse it. Sure enough, the stabbing's leading damage. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's not a set thing in stone, though, so let's see. They are one away from getting stabbing or slashing for themselves. Let's see. Is there any world where I can level up and hit a Scarebach? Okay, not immediately, but let's bring an Ador. We now have the Illuvial advantage now, too. They also got their own Goliath, so even the tank side of things, they're contesting me a little bit. We did get the combat rhythm, though, and just see how much healing was just done there by that stabbing. That was kind of ridiculous. And it's only showing up to 700 here, but that thing went down to next to nothing and just zoomed right back up. Scarabach. Scarabach. You know what? Screw it. You've already got a Malura. Okay. The heals aren't going to matter. Scarabach, come on through. Any chance I could find another? Doesn't look like it's going to be the case, but I know better than to sell the Penguin. That'd be a very quick way for them to get back into this game if they manage to find a slashing. Beautiful shot there from Your Majesty. And the look at this stabbing, man. That's absolutely ridiculous. A little break in the action. For one more NPC round. We could very well make this 3 Inferno if we manage to hit one more ramp fight. And they do hit the slashing. Okay. Not the end of the world, but it will be tougher now, that's for sure. Combine. Ooh. Okay, this could be fun. Ramp fight. To ramp fire. Vanguard ramp fire. With additional tankiness. Maybe additional tankiness onto... Oh, let's keep it to you. Goliath, are you there? Yes, you are. Let's drop this over to you. In a best case scenario. You know what? All tank augments. Over to Goliath. Alright. They have shields. This is a Revenant-based style, right? With the chips that they have. So we've got shields, ramp fire. Can you find a good shot? They're gonna get 3 of them, and boom! There goes the Malura. There goes the battle. We absolutely crushed that in the end. Disgusting. And there we go. Making it into 13-10 means we're out of the newbie queue. So things will be definitely toughening up in the next little bit. 86,000. Damn, that was pretty good. All right, one more round here for today. We're 3 for 3 so far, but I've definitely been the favorite level-wise in every single game, so... Not that I take it with a grain of salt, but it's almost expected, right? If I'm the favorite by that much, if I'm not winning, then I'm probably doing something wrong. But that was still pretty fun, though. The scuffed rogue build that we did end up pulling off there. Getting stomped out by... from getting Vanguard cleanly, so switching over into Phantom instead was pretty fun. But would love to get a lobby with some people in it here. With some more people. So we had 2 players in our very first game, but unfortunately I felt bad because you can tell that they were just getting started. And I never enjoy that feeling of just being so vastly over-leveled that I'm just clapping. 3 months left before the big day. Super curious to see how well the MMO will be received. I'm very, very hopeful still. Because be my main criticisms right now of the MMO, of Obelisk Rising, is just more so things not working as intended rather than the feature themselves. And that, again, is what the playtest was for in the first place, right? Is to be able to scout those things and then be able to give the team some time once the test is over to fix it before launch. Like, say things like, my skills resetting every single time I teleport or die, and then I have to go sit and reset the tree to get the max value of my abilities. That is easily like the most game-breaking thing in the game as of right now because it's not known. So there are people, when they're just casually playing through the game, they're going to feel like they're out-leveled, even though they have all these skills into their ranger. But the thing is the bug is making it so that those skills are only giving off their level 1 variant. And it's not obvious that it is doing that. The only reason I realized it in the first place was because my heal over time was doing 30 heals per sec, or 30 healing per second instead of 140. And that's the only reason why it was on my radar, and I was actively, like, looking for stuff like that. All right, one more time here today, and that's a lot better. We've got Matter 1, we've got Blaze Leclerc, and we've got Hector from Mad Dogs. There we go, Hector. Good luck, have fun. Don't have huge expectations, but I think there's a small chance for a huge success if it's a game that should exist, being demand. And I mean, we've seen that this kind of game, in terms of there being an alternative creature capturing experience, that is 100% needed. We see the success of Power World right now, where it's not a one-to-one compared to what we're seeing here with Obelisk Rising, but it's still a creature capture game. It's just a survival game instead. But that game is popping off harder than I think anything I've ever seen. Because people like, or people love Pokemon, but they hate the game now. Because the click, turn, go do battle for me kind of idea with an absolute mediocre storyline has gotten very old. And, like, if you look at Power World, for example, they don't have a good story either by any means. It's literally a case of walk here, talk to person, go fight boss, and then move on. Rinse and repeat. But just the entire concept of a creature capture alternative, people desperately want. Heck, that's why I'm here in the first place, is I'm a Pokemon fanatic. I'm a Pokemon professor. I can legally host Pokemon sanctioned events. And I have before. I'm just sick of the game. Not to mention trying to get into it now is very overwhelming. I absolutely agree. There's a reason why majority of games don't have living dexes anymore, or they don't have the entire Pokemon list, because I completely agree. Trying to catch, or that feeling of trying to catch up when you are thousands of creatures behind is a brutal feeling. I definitely don't envy anybody in that kind of scenario. Like, I was very lucky that I discovered it as a kid, and I was able to slowly grow my Pokemon collection naturally just playing the game, because whenever the new thing came out for the first time, it'd be lined up for me to play it. So yeah, there's a reason why we don't see living dexes like really at all anymore. And for somebody who wants to play specifically competitive, thankfully, of course, there are rule sets in place that allow you to circumvent that. But in the end, we've seen that creature capture genre games are popping off. The problem right now that's going to happen here for Illuvium is that there's actually more competition coming in the non-Web3 space. There's two games in particular that I'm looking and following currently on X. I can't remember one of them, but I know the other one's Anima. And it's another shot at a creature capture game, just with different mechanics. So it's no longer going to be a situation where you are the only creature capture alternative. Illuvium, for the longest time, had that exclusivity as like one of the creature capture, like, or not exclusivity, because there's been other ones as well that are like pretty heavily niche, like say your Digimon, for example. But in terms of like what big time competition, Illuvium had a period of time where they could have been the only like major competition. That is going to change, and that will have changed by the time Obelisk Rising comes out. So it's just a matter of, is this game as a game better than the alternatives? Or is this game different enough where they can coincide with each other? Because say like Illuvium Obelisk Rising compared to Power World. Power World's a survival game, and then Obelisk Rising's an MMO. Two completely different things. So they can coincide, and that's perfectly fine. Animo, I believe, is just like a single player, potentially multiplayer experience, so it's not a MMO. But if any of these other games want to take the MMO front, they already got a head start because it doesn't have Web3 baggage. I'm also disappointed with the fact that anime remains childish, want it to be more mature. Yeah. Unfortunately, oddly enough, anime or anything along those lines is just heavily stigmatized as well. And then when I'm saying anime, or when I'm saying, just to double check too, I'm saying Animo. Animo is another game coming out. It's not an anime. Quickly get situated here. There we go. Because here's the thing. Again, to kind of continue what I was saying in regards to my thoughts here on Obelisk Rising. So first and foremost, again, the fact that it's an MMO in what seems to be a relatively uncontested space right now is still going to be a blessing. But I'll tell you what. If, like, the bugs are there and the game feels broken, it is going to be very easy for people to spin this around and start calling it Web3 trash again. Because again, just the Web3 baggage is just going to be too heavy to lift. There's not much that you're going to be able to do to kind of circumvent that. And then in regards to storyline, if the game stays as it is right now, where quests consists of go here, collect this, go here, defend this location, over and over and over and over again, it's going to feel really bad. And outside of things not working properly, I think questing is by far the biggest sour spot on the game, in my opinion. Because the quests are not fun. They feel like they're placeholders. But what I fear is that those placeholders are actually going to be the game that they're going to run with. Yeah, I don't think there's been a single quest where I thought, like, you know what, that was fun. It just felt more like a chore. There's still plenty of time to fix that. But it's definitely scary. There we go. Hello again, beautiful. So this build that I'm going for this game is basically going to be my Invoker build or Harbinger build. However, we're just going to add in the Hydralinks, the Stoic Hydralinks in the front lines for something a little bit beefier, while also providing energy regen on every single cast. Wonder how to make a good quest. I mean, it's all, like, it's storyline. Like, first and foremost, like, there's no voice acting in the game past the tutorial. Outside of maybe a couple of cinematic sections. And it's not uncommon for games to be like that either. Like, I think of World of Warcraft, for example. They don't have voice acting. So why do we do the quests? It's all for the pursuit of trying to get to that max level, right? But there's just not enough of them, and the ones that there are currently just don't work as intended. Oh, hello there, Alfie. But again, it's pre-alpha. That's what we're here for. It's what we're working on. Or I say we're as if I'm a team member. I'm not, but like we're pointing these out so they do get fixed. Always loved the early game WoW quest. There was something so simple but yet so satisfying about it, and I could very well blame it on the fact that, like, well, we're just older now. We played at a simpler time. But I don't know, there was still something super satisfying about those early quests. Okay, we're just gonna randomly pick up a Alfia, or a Sinolf already. Why not? Support. There we are. I'm literally one away from picking up an Axodon. I would love to be able to get that, please. And the fact that it would be something along the lines of full environment immersion definitely does make sense. But there is one thing that's... or there's a lot of things cool with Obelisk Rising. But there was a certain feeling I had today that just felt so damn cool. Like, I'm running through an area, I'm just trying to level up myself. Then all of a sudden, somebody finds me out in the wild. I think it was Daniel. Daniel finds me out in the wild and is asking questions and looking for, like, questing, and we're going around catching stuff. And then I show them my leveling grinding spot, or my, where I was working. And we probably just naturally sat there for about, like, 20 minutes. Then Surfer Dude found us, joined us as well. And, like, we leveled up. Then once we got to a decent enough level, it's like, hey, we're high enough level to try and push up the mountain. So I'm going to be going to do that. And the interaction that came with that, they are like, oh, well, can I follow you? And then I'm like showing them around, so to speak, where questing up the mountain together, finding all the echoes and quest points and the mining locations, the teleporters. There was something super satisfying about that. There we go. Finally, we're going to end up finding our Axodon. But I'm now also really close to hitting Seaforus. And part of me wants to be really greedy. But the fact that, like, to me anyway, if I completely disregard the quests and just treated the game like Overworld 2, where there was no quests, but you're going out exploring and you're catching Illuvials and having the addition of being able to do dungeons. Chef's kiss. I absolutely love the game even in its current state. I would just hope that they add a fast selling button to your inventory to help clean up the inventory a little bit faster. But just that experience already in an MMO multiplayer setting was gorgeous, and I love it. And that's why, even though I've been playtesting it for a little while now, I still can't wait to go back in. Genuinely really enjoying my time. So I've basically fully committed at this point. We're just going to go full-on Invoker since I randomly hit a Sin-Off. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this instance. We're right around the corner from potentially having our Archelion as well, so I might be throwing away the game a little bit. Going for a very heavy roll build. But we'll have some fun here to finish things off. Yeah, the only thing that just feels bad is just bugs, which of course the playtest is for, and then quests. Alright, come on now. I'm finding so many Sin-Offs. There is our Archelion. And we find our Invokers. This is perfect. So we'll have 3 Invoker once I switch my Ranger over. I feel bad for my Axodon. It's here. I know it wants to be able to utilize the Harbinger side of its abilities. I will be turning it off for the time being. Okay, we'll get Toxic in here for the second. More Omega Power. Like, why would anybody ever pick this augment? Like, I'm just thinking about this. You're getting... This is supposed to be your raw damage output option. The one that gives you Omega power over time gives you just as much. More water, potentially. Give you over to you. Toxic Invoker, now online. Alright. Going up against Hector. This first Sin-Off Beam's probably going for that Rue, which means it lines up rather nicely with that dash, but that's still a lot of damage coming my way. Thankfully, we're at a little bit of a stalemate here. Oh, very close, but we will probably end up going down. Nice one, Hector. Augments have never been balanced. It's probably a safe bet. Now, I have another Scion I want to add to the mix, so I'm not going to pick the Scion Matrix. No, Omega Power potentially. Let's roll. Let's try for... Yeah, second one. Okay, going up against Matter 1's Ghost, we're in a pretty decent spot to fight it. In regards to the Twine, that's the next thing I'm looking for. Hector does have one. Just a matter of if they're going for Gnarl or not, but at the same time, I do not care for the fully evolved version of the Sloth. I just want to be able to hit not Vanguard. I want to hit Verdant. Beautiful. So Hector, Blaze, Matter. I mean, Matter's still very, very scary. I gotta be careful. Going up against them again. Okay, next level. Let's bring in our Twine temporarily. Or not our Twine, our Cling. Going down to 50, looking for Cling. Oh, double Mammoth, actually. Do they have a Fern or any sort of interrupt? It's literally just the Kookaloo, eh? I think I'm fine then. Let's stay tanky then for the time being. Gonna peak to 40. Not gonna find a Cling whatsoever, unfortunately. Okay, first shot from the Sin-Off directly into the Ranger, but that's basically all I'm hitting. But this is a very high DPS squad from Matter, and of course we saw during this week in Illuvium the amount of very good Illuvials Matter's been picking up lately. So I cannot sleep on anyone. But we'll be able to take it. Unfortunately here for Matter, this is probably my best team. There's the Twine. Beautiful. Okay. Verdant is now online. Let's switch this up. Let's kind of put you in the middle. Try to get maximum amount of value out of the Verdant's positioning. That Forest is going to be scary, though. Level 60, almost maxed out offensively. I need my later levels here, though. I need level 9 for sure. We're going to be able to hit it, though. I still have 40 HP, so even if this doesn't go my way, we're okay. Big shot here from that Sin-Off. The Monkeer couldn't get into the fight and honestly gave me the perfect angle to hit just so many Illuvials. And then my Link's got a couple of casts off. I don't even care if it gets interrupted. As long as the cast comes out, I get the bonus regen, right? There we go, Mammoth. You're next to come online. Okay. We take the NPC round. We get to level 9. And I think we try to find our carries. Okay, augments. Lots of them here. Shields. Cascading. Yes, please. throw that onto the links because I need your buffs that really truly get me to rip. One more Omega Power one. Aphisto has a hard time generating energy. Take this one. Level 9. Okay. Mammoth. Snuggle the Snail. We're going up against Matter. Another Sinolf. Gonna go to 30 to try and find some upgrades. There's a couple. Gonna try and hold for a little bit longer. If I can get some wins and buy me some time, even if I'm only getting 2 or 3 credits worth of interest, I think that's valuable. We hold the line extremely well. Gorgeous. You rarely use the gyro, finally getting them some XP. That's awesome. There you go. Do I switch? One of my tanks here. Alfie. Oh my goodness, look at that many squids. Aphisto has arrived. Let's give you the backline carry spot. Never mind, my positioning is apparently not good enough to do so. Just stay there, I guess. 4 Invokers. The gang is here. They're lined up. The line of scrimmage is here. Let it rip, everyone. And there's the second wind, stopping any of my big tanks from going down quickly. It's coming together now. Duelef, you there, bud? There you are. Next round. Thank you, Hector. Think I might try Animo the first few days since it's free to play. Perhaps get some inspiration. I'm of the same mindset. Absolutely. So here's the thing. First and foremost, I am a creature capture fan. I absolutely love Illuvium. I love this universe. I love this community. But also in terms of fun, I'm going to be trying out the other stuff. 100%. I'm not married to a game. Am I going to stream it? No, probably not. But, like, I'm going to definitely play it. And some of that purpose is to do exactly like what you're saying here, Sota. I want to take what I liked from that game and tell the team about it to potentially have some sort of form of it in Obelisk Rising. Alright. Duelef, lock and load, my friend. We're with Hector once again, but of course, as always, very scary Illuvials coming on through. We know this team's like all level 60. I think with the exception of the Gyro, it barely gets the opportunity to come out. But let's see if the team can hold the line rather nicely. This worked pretty good last time. Let's try it again. We have Duelef here now too. Big time kills coming out here from the Aphisto. Immediately getting some resets. Duelef, that's a good shot. That's going through at least 3. Wonderful, wonderful. An NPC round right before the finish line. Is there any world where I can get to level 10 right now? 50 credits away? Would be tough. You can make animo videos and mention Illuvium to potentially bring in players. There's got to be an ethical, like a good way of doing that, because I know, like personally, I've been debating on, say, Pokemon versus Pal World versus Illuvium kind of videos, but a lot of the videos I see that are in that line are very rage bait, if that makes sense. So I have to be very careful as to how I want to do that. Safeguard. Let's give everybody a little bit of extra protection up against these rogues. I have enough health to survive a loss. I have 48 credits to get to level 10. And then I think I have my ace in a hole on the bench. We go as it is, but we have adjustments that can be made next round. Assuming we don't die. Fisto, let's see that Omega power. 305% right off the rip. Let's watch how quickly this escalates. The healer's down before it even has a chance to fire off a heal. Keep going, guys, but we need that penguin. Dual F, can you get him? Thank you. There we go. I mean, this is still not over. That ramp fire is extremely scary. Right down to the wire. Dual F with the clutch. And I didn't even need Steam to get there. GG's. Very good battles. It was a rather greedy build, but thankfully we held on long enough to be able to pull that off. Yes, GG's Hector. Fantastic game. All right. Starting the season off right. And for... I mean, will I even show up on the leaderboard if I still have my placements going? Oh, I haven't seen that tick in a little while. We're waiting for server response. Oh, interesting. I guess that's a good time to be closing up here anyway. But yeah, that last one was basically my best team. So, of course, I take that with a grain of salt. That's pretty much the best that I can ever give you. If I manage to have a Crunk up there instead, maybe be a little bit different. Server error 401. This is the first I've seen something like this. Does it happen just when I go into the leaderboards? Oh, no. Not quite. So, very quickly, I'm take a personal screenshot for a second with myself with a 1.0 average placing. It's not going to stay that way for very long. Not a chance. No. Managed to make that work. And then the links changes. As somebody who loves to have links in basically every single build that I could possibly find, was a massive benefit for not just the Lynxes, but for me as well. And if people aren't going to contest me for fully evolved Lynxes, I will make them pay for it. 100%. I will have that extra strong early game or mid to early game spike, but have something that could carry me later. It's incredible. And in regards to how strong it's going to be, obviously we're going to need some more data on it. But the fact that we actually have to think about Lynxes for more than just the baby Lynx is an absolute win for that entire line. The thing that's going to suffer, oddly enough, if I remember last or earlier this month when I did my population report, the fully evolved Lynxes were borderline extinct. A lot of these fully evolved Lynxes have maybe 20 or 30 left alive on the Illuvidex. So if there's people that actually want to get good Lynxes right now, it's a scary time for you. It's a very premium option. So I'm thankful that I already have mine. Not all of them are competitive in terms of TPI, but I at least have one, if that makes sense. Server error, 4 invokers forbidden. I mean, if I keep playing like that, it's probably going to get smacked with the bat, I'm not going to lie. It's going to get smacked by the Nerf bat. But we shall be wrapping things up here in a second for today. Absolutely been a pleasure playing everybody here today. And of course, it's not going to be the last stream. We're going to be right back at it tomorrow. We do have Illuvium Arena House League with, of course, alluvial prizing supplied by Illuvium themselves. Of course, completely free to enter event. If you want to play with ownership off and have everybody on the same playing field, sign up for Caribou Cup. If you want to play with your own alluvials and have levels and your stats matter, sign up for the Monarch Masters. There's a way that we can get everybody involved, regardless of their experience level. And just for showing up, between the Illuvium supported packs and the community rescue, you will be getting at least something just for showing up and giving me your best shot. That's all I ask. Put on the best show you possibly can, and just have a great time. Unfortunately, I came last in a bot lobby because my internet disconnected. Oh no. I feel that. That happened to me on Tuesday. The roofer cut the internet line, and I was going to be doing, well, it would have been this stream on Tuesday, which, all things considered, I'm kind of happy that it happened on Tuesday, because it means my gameplay stream then got to feature the latest update. But that sucked. But I definitely feel for the internet issues, for sure. Then going into Monday, we'll probably be back with some more Obelisk Rising. I'll have my character leveled up, and we'll see what kind of fun that we could have, what kind of adventures we can have together. Again, I was talking about it a little bit throughout the entirety of the Arena stream. While I do think that the questing for Obelisk Rising is a big-time sour spot right now, everything else about the game feels pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. Think of it more so as the overworld that we knew before, but in an MMO setting, where it's more so you're going out there adventuring, capturing alluvials. Think of that, but you now have raids, you now have dungeons, and there will be, of course, your questing and crafting and a bunch of additional systems with that. While some of them don't necessarily hit the mark perfectly right now, that, again, is what this playtest is all about. So, I've been given my feedback. I gave, poor Perry, I gave him an entire Google Docie of every single quest, every single thing that I would, or had a bad time with. And I will say, even in the latest update, they are already able to knock out a few things. So I know they're trying their damnedest. I still have plenty of hope. Yes, there is going to be competition in the creature capture front from not just Pokemon, but of course Pal World, Animo, and of course just Illuvium going to have to try and overcome the Web3 stigma. But this game has legs. It's an MMO in a genre that does not currently have any other MMO. And I would love to see this take off outside of the Web3 space. Let there be Web3 options, but don't let that be the entire core of the game. Like, I know I saw somebody in Discord saying, like, okay, here's the playtest, but when do we get to play for rewards? The reward is playing the game and having a fantastic time. Take that pay-to-earn BS and get it out of your mind. Like, I can't stand it. I want to slap people silly when that kind of stuff happens. This is a video game, and as a video game, I think you could do it. And I look forward to more of it with all of you, whether it be in the playtest or when it does eventually come out in full. I personally cannot wait. Can't wait for tomorrow as well, because of course, again, Illuvium Arena House League going to be coming on through here once again. taking the weekend off. Of course, good luck to everybody who's in the Ratty Data tournament. I apologize for not being able to cast it this time. Unfortunately, plans did kind of collide with the finals there. But good luck and have fun to everybody. If anybody else happens to stream it, please do let me know. I'd love to be able to signal boost that. But if not, that's okay. I'll catch up later on and see what happened. But I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. House League right around the corner. It'll be a fun time. I hope to see you there, whether it be on the arena, battlefield itself, or in the stands. Would love to have you. So, have a great rest of the night. I'll see you tomorrow.